So it's early yet. On Thursday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, by the way. And my corned beef, in case you were curious, is coming along very nicely in the crock pot. A little earlier today than yesterday in terms of when I'm doing my update. It's not yet noon. I uh, thought I'd get a little head start because I'm planning on taking it easy today for the most part. I was up at 6, not much earlier, thankfully. A little extra sleep last night, which was good. Um, Actually had a good sleep last night now that I think about it. In fact, when I got up this morning, I felt fairly well rested. I had no major issues getting started with my day. Um, I jumped up, I made breakfast, had actually made a good breakfast for everyone, which was nice. Had a lot of energy going into the morning, managed to get the dinner started, prepped everything for the crock pot with the corned beef and potatoes and cabbage and had that all set. And we were out the door early this morning, strangely. I think it had a lot to do with my daughter actually being up a little earlier than normal for her and not having any trouble getting out of bed for a change. Yeah, she was up like a bullet too, which was really great. So everything was working well, a lot of synchronicity this morning, and that was all good. And I went and did my morning stint with serving up coffee and came back, double checked that everything's going well with the crock pot. But today is the day when I, typically feel a little more under the weather, a little more down in terms of energy levels. Concentration starts to be a little bit trickier. Part of that is just sleep deprivation, and part of it is, I think, the effects of the uh, drugs in the system. But what I'm going to be doing today, then, because last night I started to have some digestion problems. I was having a hard time after dinner, um, just for a little while, kind of keeping everything neat and orderly in my system. But it worked out all right. I don't take anti-nausea drugs. If I felt like I really needed to, I would, and I have them. I don't like taking them. I don't like taking any additional uh, medication that I don't actually need. So for me, the trade-off of maybe having 1 or 2 hours here or there where I feel upset stomach issues, and the trade-off for that is that I'm not like putting a lot of other stuff in my system that is going to make me feel, you know, icky in a different way. Uh, but I'm lucky about that. I don't have a lot of symptoms where I get nauseous. I don't usually have trouble keeping food down. In fact, it's very rare when I do. And if I have issues with gag reflex and stuff like that, it's usually because of when I brush my teeth, I've got a very sensitive gag reflex, and it makes me feel like I'm going to retch sometimes. So I have to be careful when I do that. But I do brush my teeth. I have very good oral hygiene. And that's important, folks. Oral hygiene is important. Teeth are things that need to be taken care of. So I'm always making sure that I brush several times a day, and in spite of the fact that this week in particular, um, sometimes it makes it a little a little tricky to have that toothpaste and toothbrush back there in the back of my mouth. But all that aside, um, had a decent dinner last night. I ate too much. I think that's part of the problem that that I was having, was that I wouldn't say that I overate, but I overate for what I should have been eating based on how my stomach was feeling. Um, but today, like I say, I woke up, I felt great. I um, uh, have had a good morning so far. Some uh, nice surprises, I guess, in terms of feeling even a little better than I often do at this time. And and I'm really excited about the fact that we're going to have this great dinner tonight. Now, one of the things that is often a side effect of the chemotherapy is that it makes me react very strongly to different smells and things that can make me feel uh, a little ill pretty quickly. Um, for example, the stench of a hot glue gun. This was being used in in the room here yesterday. My wife and daughter were doing some crafting projects, and the smell of the hot glue really made me have to leave the room. That's something that that I do have to deal with. But it's also something that a little bit of fresh air, opening the windows, that kind of takes care of things, makes it a little better. So there's that. But for me now, for the rest of the day, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of take it easy for a little while here. I'm going to rest. I still feel like I need to catch up on some sleep. So I might try taking a short nap, and then I am going to actually try and get some writing work done today. I still have a couple of projects that are open on my desktop on my computer, so I will need to get in there and work on those. And the great news for me right now is that I definitely feel that there is mental acuity here that will will still function. So the the creative the creative work still needs to be done. But in the meantime, I'm a little sluffy, and I could probably like I say, use a little nap. Which so far this week I've failed to give myself on any given day. But today I'm gonna work on it. Maybe I'll um, you know have success there, and then hopefully, I'll put in some good work, and I'll be happy with what I complete, and we'll see where it goes from there. But in general, this is what I consider my down day. It's not super bad, in terms of anything, like I'm not suffering per se. I just feel like a little gross, but not too bad. And it was not in my way, particularly this morning. When I was at work, I was doing fine. A lot of great interaction with people. It's always good to be around people, and preferably have things to laugh about, which is always nice, and talk about common interests and stuff like that too. So um, I always highly recommend social interaction um, during during this period, because it does help to keep your mind off of the fact that maybe physically you're not feeling super great, but there's nothing um, to stop you from adjusting your focus. And so that's what I've done this morning, and it's what I will continue to do throughout the day as much as possible. But mostly, I'm just going to focus on trying to do the two things that are most important right now, which are getting some rest and getting some work done.